Hello, everybody. I'm KJW, aka Cherry Chocolate, aka Carrie Wilson, the editor. And yeah, as you've probably been aware, we've been a little busy well, not busy and busy at the same time with COVID-19 and the quarantine that's been going on. And I'm pretty sure everybody is just as bored as I am. I mean, I finished all my schoolwork. I'm caught up on everything. I'm on spring break. I'm technically on spring break. So it's giving me time to study for any upcoming tests that I might have. I played through a lot of video games. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Sly Cooper series, but I beat all 4 games. I'm that bored. I've beaten all 4 of the games. I just finished the 4th game yesterday. So I needed something to do, and Steven Universe Future is giving me something to do. This vlog is kind of going to be like what I expected in the kind of like my expectations of the Steven Universe movie. I'm just going to be talking about what I felt about the past, ever since the last episode that J. Doom Beast and I saw, and going on from there. And I've got my phone so that I'll be able to remember the names of the episodes, just giving you a short synopsis of what the episode is about and if I liked it or not. And what I'm hoping to expect in the future. So, for the first Steven Universe, let's just go ahead and jump into it. So, for the first Steven Universe episode, it was called, hold on, give me a second, In Dreams. In this episode, Steven is having dreams that are kind of a reflection of what's going on now in his life. Like, he doesn't know where he wants to go or what he wants to do, what his future is going to hold. And Peridot comes over and the next day Peridot comes over because there is a reboot of their favorite show, Camp Piney Hearts, that's out, that Steven recorded on a tape. Which just makes me realize, man, I am old, because I used to have a VCR when I was a kid, and a VCR rewinder. Here we go. That's a story for another time. I used to have a lot of VHSs though. That's how I got into film in the first place, actually. But no. So they watch it, and it's horrible. We don't get to see much of it, but there are some things that are just like, yeah, no, I'd probably get mad at it too. Like an epic reboot of something from when I was a kid. What could possibly go wrong? It's one of those scenarios. And during the time, and while they're watching it, Steven's dream happens to pop up, and Steven's like, what's this? Steven's like, oh man, my powers must be interfering with the TV signal, which, when could they do that? I must have missed that episode. I mean, I've seen every single episode of Steven Universe multiple times, and I literally don't remember this ever happening. I mean, I know he can enter other people's dreams and sometimes take over their bodies, like in the new Lars. God, that episode was terrible. See, I'm that much of a nerd, but I really don't remember this. I really don't remember anything happening, but this gives Peridot an idea that they can reboot the reboot. And so they do try and come up with different ideas, but the more that they do it, Steven doesn't really like the direction Peridot's going, and she's like, well, we can go ahead and stop, and I should probably get back to Little Homeworld. And Steven doesn't want her to go, so he just goes with her ideas. And it ends up with Steven having to go through a dream complex again, where he doesn't want Peridot to leave. He feels like all of his friends are going away, like first Sadie and the Suspects, and now Lars in outer space, and everybody has their future figured out, and he's still trying to figure it out, but he doesn't want to do it alone. He's scared of being alone. And Peridot sees this all, and it's such a good moment with her and Steven at the end. And she says, we don't have to do this anymore. They both end up crying and hugging, and it ends up with them both watching Steven saying, "Can we watch the show together even if it sucks?" Peridot laughs and says, "Of course." They start watching it, and they make fun of it. Fun of it. It's one of those shows. It's one of those shows that Jay Doom Beast and I like to do. Like, honestly, the only reason Jay Doom Beast watches, let me see. The only reason why I can get Jay Doom Beast to watch My Little Pony with me is because he and I make fun of it. That's the main reason we watch it. It's a good show. I like the show. I do love the show because of the moral, but it's also good ripping material. Watching it with a friend does help. It's one of those things, like Zombies, kind of, but getting off track. I thought this episode was fun. Funny. I thought it was a good dive into what Steven's going through, and it's a good opener for what he's going to go through. We're going to get to that in a second. But, yeah, no, this was a nice episode, and I'm a Peridot fan, so I already love any Peridot episode. Okay, next episode, Bismuth Casual. When I first saw this episode, I was just bewildered at the direction they were going with this. It's called Bismuth Casual because Bismuth is going out and meeting humans and trying to make friends at a roller rink, and Steven, Connie, and Pearl are there to support her, but Steven's also there to hang out with Connie since he hasn't seen her in a while. And then Steven sees Connie's other friends, and I was actually surprised for a second. Connie has other friends! That's awesome! Oh my gosh, Connie was such an introvert before, and now she's a social butterfly. Fly away, butterfly, fly. I really love Connie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you all know this about me. I love Connie. If you see my other videos, you know I'm a big Connie fan. And to see her again is just amazing. And she's great in this episode. And it's a Steven and Connie episode, even though it's called Bismuth Casual. But Bismuth is the one who helps Steven in the end. But here's the thing. The thing that bewildered me, it wasn't just Steven and Connie's relationship taking a turn. It wasn't Steven asking questions about him and Connie, whether or not they were still friends. It wasn't the fact that Bismuth reassured him. It wasn't even Stevonnie's return. Don't get me wrong, I love the fusion of Stevonnie, and she doesn't look like she changed. It was really a great episode, but they shipped Bismuth and Pearl. And I'm not sure how to feel about that. I'm really not. Because it's just... I mean, at first I was just like, no, they can't do that. But then I thought about it for a second, and I was just like, I guess it makes sense, sort of, if you think about it kind of hard. Squint your eye and turn your head over 180. It's just, it was so weird to me at first. It just feels like a random thing to do, but they did it, and it might be canon. So I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really did like this episode. It was another good episode, and it was a necessary episode. These are the kind of episodes I wish we would have gotten, like, at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of Steven Universe Future. I was on board by the end of Steven Universe Future when they finally started addressing some of the issues. But in the beginning, it's like they had good ideas, but then they waited a few episodes of filler to talk about them. And Steven Universe does that too, and that's one of the problems that I do have with the show. I wish they would address it earlier. It's just, it's a mixed bag for me. I'm getting returning feelings, like in the first season of Steven Universe, when I was first starting to get into the show, or at least trying to get into it. It took me a while, but I did. So, yeah, that's the thing. That's the only thing with me, is that it just takes them a while. So, that's Bismuth Casual. Okay, next episode is Together Forever. Just gonna say what the premise is. Steven is preparing to propose to Connie. Whew! One second. Okay, the ending of this episode saves it. It saves it from getting into cringe territory. Like, this is just really, really, really. I was cringing throughout most of the episode, except for the song. The song was amazing, and by God, it was actually really good. I mean, Steven talks to first Ruby and Sapphire, not Garnet, Ruby and Sapphire. Oh, hold on. Shouldn't have drank that much water. I needed to get ready. Talks to Ruby and Sapphire about proposing. Well, first he talks to Ruby about his relationship with Connie, and he wants Connie to be his future. He thinks that Connie will be his future, so she says, "You should propose to her." And Steven's like, well, it's not like you have thought about it. It's like, well, yeah, but just and so he goes to Sapphire, and Sapphire basically agrees too. So Steven goes through the whole day coming up with different ideas of trying to propose to her, and they meet on the beach. He sings her a beautiful song that basically describes their relationship, and Connie loves it. And then he pulls out the ring. He pulls out the. I'm trying to remember because I know it's an episode that I have trouble remembering. He pulls out the glow bracelet that basically brought them together the first time that they met, and he proposes to her, asking to be Stevonnie forever. She rejects him, but she lets him down easy, and she basically says it's just not the time, at least not now. So there is hope that they could, but just not now. Here's the thing, I didn't expect them to get I didn't expect Steven to propose to her. I expected him to maybe ask her to be his girlfriend. Or at least start dating. That's the thing I was really hoping for. But they don't do that. And Steven is actually okay with it until the end. They don't end on any bad terms. It just wasn't the right time. So they both handle that pretty maturely. I'm not gonna lie. It's shown their growth as characters. It was so weird. It's like that episode of Me with the Kardashians, where where the best friend proposes to Kim Kardashian. I have a mother and a sister. All right. Actually, I can't blame it on them. It was a few episodes. Jeez, give me a break. Don't judge me. I don't watch it anymore. There was only a few episodes. I just couldn't believe how dumb it was. Anyways, no, the ending of this episode where Steven and Garnet are talking, he's like, "If you knew this was gonna happen, why didn't you stop me?" She said, "There was no future where you didn't propose to her." And I was like, really? Really? I can think of one. Don't do it. It's not gonna work. Don't do it. It's not gonna work out the way you think. Or better yet, why didn't you just show him in your future kiss by passing on your future visions to him? I'm like, there are so many other ways you could have handled this. But she says whatever your future is going to be, Stevonnie it's not, you can't force it onto Stevonnie. So, and it ends with Steven saying, maybe eating this delicious cake will make it better, and the cake is completely destroyed. Garnet's like, it really, really won't. And he just stuffs his face like, I'm doing it anyway. That was just so adorable. So, yeah, the ending of this episode saves it. The beginning of this episode starts off kind of strong with Steven and Connie starting to talk more. The middle is the problem. The proposal wasn't that bad. The song isn't that bad. It was so uncomfortable for me. So, yeah, alright, that's it. And let me see. Lastly, I've got the last 3 episodes. Growing Pains, Mr. Universe, and Fragments. Growing Pains. Growing Pains and Mr. Universe are kind of one and the same episode. You can put these two episodes together. That's really what I like. You can put actually these three episodes together. The four, you know what? You can put the four episodes, the episode I just talked about Together Forever, with fragments. You can put all four of these episodes together. They feel like one long episode when you watch them back to back, because in a way they are. I mean, that's the thing I love about Steven Universe. They're starting to connect. This is where the episodes are starting to connect, and I love that when they do connect, they connect in the next episode. So, no, but Growing Pains, Steven, I'll just give you the short version. Steven has PTSD because he's been in danger so many times in his life and his childhood. He goes to a doctor for the first time ever, for the first time, which happens to be Connie's mom. Oh, and she does not know that Steven proposed to her. She actually figures out what's the problem with why he's glowing pink, and that seems to happen with any kind of stressful situation in his life. Whenever some form of small stress happens, it triggers his gem powers to activate like it's going to be the end of the world, because he's been in those kinds of situations before throughout his childhood, and he hasn't recovered really mentally. That's the thing, he hasn't recovered at all mentally. This can be perfectly summed up by a person who has PTSD, like a soldier returning from war. And it's a relatable episode. So I really do like it, and it moves on to the next episode of Mr. Universe. Greg finds out about Steven's PTSD, and he helps him through it. He starts to help him through it, at least. This is the episode I kind of want to talk about, because it's the first episode of Steven Universe Future that I haven't liked all the way. I don't know if it's good. I don't think it's very good. It's maybe a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It gets uncomfortable, but not in the good way like him. But not in the good way like Together Forever. Where the episode kind of saves it. It gets kind of dark a little bit when we learn about Greg's past and learn about at least when he was a little kid, but we don't get to see the thing I don't like is that we don't get to see a flashback, which for any Greg episode, that's already a plus. Like, any kind of episode that happens in his past, we get to see that. That's amazing. I would love to see little Gregory running around, maybe trying to get some approval from his parents, but we don't get to see that. He actually ran away from his home because his parents just didn't understand him, which Steven finally realizes, wow, you're like mom, and he doesn't mean it in a good way. He means it in a bad way, like he was selfish enough to leave his family, like to put them through that kind of hurt. But at the same time, I feel like there's one key difference between Rose and Greg. Well, between Pink Diamond and Greg. Greg did try to reach out to his family. In one scene, we see Steven pull out a bunch of letters of Greg Universe that are completely unopened. And I'm pretty sure those letters are him trying to connect with his parents again, but they just don't want to. So maybe Greg did try to reach out. Again, we don't know the whole story, but Steven just assumes that Greg just cut them off from his life. He didn't have a chance to have a normal life, which is something that Steven did want, and he kind of did deserve as a kid. He didn't ask for really any of the responsibility that was placed on him, but it was given to him just because he was born. And it takes him back to that place with his mom having to deal with that. And in the end, when he and his dad are driving, he gets so angry he flips over the fan. Greg says that he's proud of him, but Steven is just tuning him out. He's starting to get a little upset more and more. And this is the beginning, which leads to the final episode, Fragments, which, I'm not gonna lie, might be my new favorite. It might be my new favorite. This is just... Oh my gosh. Steven Steven's with the crystal gems. They're bawling him out for, flipping over the van and maybe almost causing the death of Greg. I mean, Pearl is at least trying to talk to him, but he doesn't want to. He just wants to be alone for a bit. But until he finally just screams out that scene from the trailer, "Leave me alone." He turns pink and time slows down again. He runs out to the woods and meets up with Jasper. Where was she? You said you were gonna go back. It took you a while, man. Just saying. Excuse me. It took you a while, man. But you know what? She's back. But you know what? Oh, whoops. I'm bad. But you know what? We get to see Jasper again, and we get to see a pretty cool fight. But I'm gonna get to that. But oh man, this episode was just. Steven talks to Jasper, tells her all that's been going on, and she just says, "So what you're saying is, you want a rematch?" I can tell. You know what? I've always been able to appreciate that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who create TV Universe are like anime nuts. Because that was such an anime line. This feels like an anime. And Steven's like, "No, I just needed someone to talk to." And Jasper's like, "No, that's not how I do things." And the more that they do talk, the more Steven realizes that there is a power inside of him, but he's been halting it because Steven's powers are driven by his emotions, and his emotion of anger is finally being unleashed. He's felt mad before, but he's never felt like pure rage, and he wants to be able to harness it. He wants to be able to control it. He doesn't want to hold back. So Jasper trains him, and in 3 days, he masters his power. It's funny because the training montage that they have, it looks like it's been like months, but it's only been days. He has like facial hair. He's starting to get facial hair. His hair is... He looks like a Super Saiyan. He looks like a pink Super Saiyan by the end of this. And so Steven says, "I'm finally ready." And she says, "For what?" He says, "Our rematch." And so they start to rumble. They're both throwing punches. Jasper looks like she's winning at first, but then Steven turns pink. He goes completely crazy. He says, "You're right, I've been holding back." And it so reminded me of one scene where I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball fan. I don't watch a lot of Dragon Ball, but I recognize some scenes where Goku goes Super Saiyan 4, his final Super Saiyan form that has a tail and wears pink, and he says, "When I'm in this form, it's hard for me to listen to reason. I just sometimes lose control." Steven looks exactly like... he doesn't look exactly like that, but he says he's been holding back, but he won't anymore. And so he pulls out this big, huge purple-pink shield, crushes Jasper with it, and then throws the final shield at her. And then it cuts to black. It goes down to rain. We see Steven running towards the house back in his normal state. The gems see him at the door. They're worried about him. He runs past them, runs in the bathroom, holding something in his shirt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, please don't tell me he did. I was thinking, okay, maybe he poofed her, but no, wait, what if he... No, I could not believe this actually happened. He gets all of the diamond bottles, throws them in the bathtub that he used to reform the other corrupted gems, and he takes out Jasper, and she is shattered. When you poof a gem, they don't really die. They just retreat back into their gem so that they can recreate themselves. But when you shatter a gem, they're dead. You killed them. So we could just confirm that Steven shattered a gem. He killed a gem. Something he said he would never do at all. Something he promised he would never do. He shattered Jasper, and he puts her back. He puts her in the he puts her in the water. He cries saying, "Please come back," and she reemerges. I was like, oh my god, thank god that worked. Jesus. And when Jasper saw it, she said, "You shattered me." He's like, "Jasper, I didn't mean," and she bows to him saying, "I bow to your strength, my diamond." Steven says no, and that's how the episode ends. Jeez, I don't know what to say. I mean, ugh, that was intense. That was really intense, and the reason why I'm thinking it's my favorite, it's my new favorite, is because I really want to see where it's going to go, where I'm hoping that it will go. Some people believe that this is the beginning of Steven's corruption. I don't know. I wonder if it's something more than that. That if maybe his whole mind starts to get warped. Maybe he won't be able to control his powers. It's something. I don't know. I don't know what to expect that hasn't been said already. I really can't wait to see more. And so far with Steven Universe Future, I'm really loving it. I'm starting to love it. I was starting to like it the last time I saw it. I'm really loving this. I'm loving it more than I did when I first saw it. It's getting better and better with each episode. It started off small, and now it's getting really, really big, and I really appreciate that, because I thought it was going to stay small throughout the whole series, but it surprised me, and just like Steven Universe surprised me before, it's surprising me even longer now. I really can't wait till tomorrow to see how it ends. Again, I'm fighting the temptation to just turn on my TV, find one of those leaks, and just go ahead and do it, and then do a vlog of that, and just tell you what I feel about Steven Universe overall. But I'm waiting. I'm being patient. I'm gonna wait till the finale. I can do this. Okay. That's about it. That's really all I wanted to do. Jump on here, tell you guys what I thought about the episodes. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm gonna be doing more vlogs later. I've got a lot of spare time. So, that's it. This has been KJW, aka Kerry Wilson, the editor, aka Cherry Chocolate. God says the same. I hope to see you guys in my next review. Later.